is being weird, and I don't know how to fix it. Oh. Let's try this one more time.
The last true rebellion is death to the world. To be crucified to the world, and the world to us. With the seed of dissatisfaction deeply planted in the heart of today's society, rebellion has been a small key to unlock the doors of change. But the rebellion that the world has known, since our times have come to a point where things can't get much worse, the few remaining lovers of truth must search deeper into themselves and deeper into truth itself. But to get to this point, a revolution must take place. A revolution in the hearts of these lovers of truth. A revolution that annihilates all earthly and worldly thinking, and that nurtures a way of thinking that is not of this world. Because that which is of the flesh is of the flesh, and that which is of the spirit . There is a grave necessity for this internal revolution, for only by this progress can be made. For how can one help a world with festering wounds until one mends one's own wounds? After this spiritual surgery has taken place, true rebellion is an ideal that is attainable. In this age of confusion and destruction, the necessary distinction between good versus evil has been deathly confused. There is of nothingness, that no ultimate truth exists, nihilism. There is neither love or hatred, good or bad, life or death. The result of this is a soul-destroying idea that even God does not exist. The natural reaction to all of this is an internal rebellion of the soul. The soul cannot deny its own existence. At this point, an all-out unseen warfare is fully engaged. In the case of the lover of truth, the rebellion manifests itself externally in a rebellion against this corrupt world. This is good. But there are too many people who just stop at this point. Without searching any further, how can one expect to uncover the answers? True rebellion will stop at nothing in the fight for the good of the world, for the good of others, and for the good of itself in whatever way it manifests itself. It is necessary to wage a revolution in the heart in order to conquer evil with good, so as to have a rebellion in truth. This is the kind of rebellion that must take place, or else it isn't a rebellion at all.
I don't know, just more like ready for it, because like we're not living in a stupid fantasy of fancy cars and everything. Just like trying to pretend it's not there, because it is there. We face more reality, I think, than normal people.
I'm sorry if it is.
So maybe the world will improve because...
It might, I don't know how, but...
Because you're
I mean, I don't think...
more sense of reality than...
Right, I mean, I don't think it'll, like, blow up or something, but I mean, the way it is, it's just... I mean, the way the inflation and everything, I mean, there'll either be a depression or a war or something.
There once was a counterculture with the sole purpose of rebelling against the world. This counterculture was wise in the sense that its philosophy was based on recognizing the corruption. In this lies half the truth. It represents more truth than the world would ever dare to acknowledge, but this counterculture must not stop at this. It must seek unto death the ultimate in truth if it is to accomplish that which it first set out to do. care for and tend to the world's wounds. This counterculture of punk was something that a handful of truth seekers could easily identify with, for it is very clear that the world is coming to a close. To be a true punk is to have nothing to do with that element which kills, hurts,
Bro, why is he
causes
doing
pain, but to cauterize the wounds. To be in the world, but not of the world. In actuality, the true ideals of punk have yet to be introduced, as does the fullness of their rebellion. These ideals and this philosophy are the world's best kept secret, a secret that has been in the souls of those few lovers of truth ever since the beginning of time, in the hearts and souls of the true punks.
What the Sigma?
The monks. Monks are those who for thousands of years have rebelled against the corruption of this world by severing all chains that bind themselves to the world. To live in caves, in holes in the ground, and to dwell in deserts.
W Sigma.
To eat maybe once a day, or even once a week. To wear the same clothes until they completely fall apart, and to rarely sleep because the cause is more important than the pleasures of this world. In these deprivations and sufferings, they would realize one thing. There is no real suffering at all
What a Sigma.
than to not know God. This is the last true rebellion. To forsake the world and to embrace God alone.
Κύριε Ιησού Χριστέ, για τη λόγια του Θεού, ελέησό μου τον αμαρτωλό. Κύριε Ιησού Χριστέ.
Beneath the brittle surface, the vain, self-interested clinging love, the maddening longing, which only obscures what lies below, there is a silently flowing river, a river of compassion, bowels of mercy, a feeling of other people's pain, flowing into a vast, vast ocean of sadness. Although it is a sadness, one enters it willingly with joy, for there is such a tenderness in its pain. And at last, in this sadness, there is perfect freedom. This is the love that never dies, a proof of immortality. This is the pain that the crucified one embraced willingly, sharing our pain. This is the cross he asks us to bear. This is the death he asks us to die. And at last, in this death, there is perfect peace.
What the Sigma?
You have one unheard message. First unheard message.
At the time of acute self-consciousness at the birth of adulthood, when the soul is still innocent and open, has not been hardened, and the world is a big apple with possibilities that are seemingly limitless, and relationships can seem to be so perfect and so easily perfect, and the soul has just been awakened to the intense sense of personhood, selfhood, and asks, for the first time, the question of who he is and why he's here. The soul is wide open, and it seeks to go beyond itself.
What the Sigma?
The person feels deeply and intensely, having not yet learned to block and hide these feelings which later proved too painful. And he longs to share this feeling, this self-awareness, this intensity, this pain with others, and to feel what others feel. Everything is poured out freely, sometimes too freely. And there is no attempt to guard one's inner world from being trampled on. The child who has never been hit by a car, if he is not told of the dangers,
God is, it retracts God down into an extremely simple sense. Right? So the reason why this is extremely problematic, which is why I immediately go to scripture when somebody starts advocating for divine simplicity, is the problem of theophanies.
Yeah. Wait.
The problem with theophanies is that they can't actually justify them in any way, shape, or form. So in Leviticus 9:22-24, right, it says, Aaron lifted up his hands towards the people and blessed them. He came down after sacrificing the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the fellowship offering. Moses and Aaron entered the tent of meeting. When they came out, they blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all people. Fire came from the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat portions on the altar. And when all the people saw it, they shouted and fell face down. Fell face down, obviously, prostration. They were worshiping God, right? They were worshiping the glory of God. Debated the Muslim guy multiple times, no show.
I mean, that kind of proves
anyway.
the energies.
Yeah, but the problem is that you can ask a person who believes in absolute divine simplicity this: what is the glory of God? What is the glory of the Lord?
I guess an attribute.
There's only two things that they can say. Well, yeah, is it? But they would say it's created, right?
That it's not created.
It's a created manifestation. Well, they can't say that it's because if it's an attribute, is it God or not? That's my question. Because in order for something to be worshipped, would you agree it has to be fully God?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would ask them, is this God or is it not?
And
Right? And they believe in absolute divine simplicity, which is the combination of the essence and energy being one thing. And so if the glory of the Lord is supposedly the essence of God, in this case, he got a reasonable answer, not tried glaze. I don't speak whatever you just said.
he said that he said that Jay Dyer has reasonable answers, but he doesn't want to, like, I guess praise
No, I'm
him.
talking about the guy that was in chat.
He was talking about some
Talking about the guy in
Muslim,
Sorry,
probably
sorry.
the guy that took you out of context.
Yeah, it is. It's him. I made a 23-minute video refuting him. You can go watch it on my page if you want. So, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all people, in this case, right? So they either have to say that it is God or that it's a created manifestation. Because absolute divine simplicity, the dogma behind that, is that the manifestation is something that God creates inside of time. It's something that's created temporically, right? So it's either God, and if it's the essence energies are the same, then that means the glory of the Lord is God's essence, right?
Right.
But it says multiple times in the scriptures that nobody can see God face to face, right?
True.
Nobody's ever seen God, which is referring to his substance or his nature. So if that's the case, then either the Israelites are lying or they're worshiping a creature.
Which.
Does that make sense?
True.
So therefore, essence and energies has to exist. It has to be the only doctrine that makes any sense. Because absolute divine simplicity cannot actually attest to theophanies. I mean, I can ask the same question about Judges 6:11, where Gideon sits down with God.
Wait, is energy essence distinction a real distinction?
Yes,
Okay.
it's as real of a distinction as the Son is to the Father.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
Yep. That's the big thing about ADS, man. It's goofy. Now the